The rain came down in thin silver lines, drumming softly against the asphalt of the training compound. Recruits ran laps around the barracks, boots thudding in perfect rhythm. Orders were barked, whistles shrieked, and the Navy SEAL training base at Coronado felt alive with discipline and exhaustion. Among the group of fresh faces pushing through the mud course was a woman, smaller in frame, quiet, and calm where others shouted and cursed. Her name on the roster was R. Hayes, and most assumed she was just another late recruit trying to prove herself in a man's world. She didn't correct them. "Move it, rookie." One of the trainees yelled as she slipped under a barbed wire fence, the mud smearing across her uniform. She gave no response, only a silent nod, crawling faster, breathing steady. To the other recruits, she was an enigma. No one knew where she came from, and she never joined the jokes in the mess hall. She listened more than she spoke, always watching, always calculating. By the third week, rumors had spread like wildfire. Some said she was related to an admiral. Others claimed she was an officer's daughter using connections to sneak into the program. But when one trainee tried to mock her during combat drills, he found himself flat on his back, face first in the dirt, before the instructor even noticed the scuffle. "She's got reflexes," the instructor muttered, narrowing his eyes. "Where'd you learn that, Hayes?" "Basic training, sir," she replied simply, though her tone carried a weight that didn't match her words. That night, while others slept, she sat awake in the dim barracks light, cleaning her gear with surgical precision. Her tags gleamed faintly in the dark, but if anyone looked closer, they'd notice something strange. The embossed letters were faded from years of use, not new like the others. The next morning, the base buzzed with tension. Commander Rourke, the officer overseeing this training cycle, was arriving for inspection, a man known for breaking recruits down until only the strongest remained. When he entered the field, recruits straightened instantly. His presence was like a thundercloud, thick, cold, and electric. "Listen up." Rourke's voice boomed. "You are not SEALs. You are not even close. Until you learn to work as one unit, you're nothing but liabilities. Today, we separate those who belong here from those who don't." The recruits broke into squads for a timed exercise, a full tactical navigation through the forest, live fire drills, and survival scenarios. Hayes was assigned to Squad Delta, the team notorious for underperforming. Halfway through the course, Delta was already falling apart. Two men argued over navigation, another lagged behind with a twisted ankle, and morale was crumbling fast. "Hayes, you got something to say." One of them snapped when she tried to redirect them. She paused, scanning the map, her expression unreadable. "You're heading the wrong way. We're circling the objective." "Oh, look at the recruit giving orders now," another scoffed. She said nothing, just adjusted her rifle and moved forward. Within minutes, gunfire echoed, simulated, but real enough to trigger panic. Hayes dropped low, signaling silently for cover. The others froze. "Move," she hissed, voice sharp now, trained. It wasn't a plea, it was an order. Something in her tone cut through their hesitation. They followed her lead as she maneuvered them through the trees with hand signals and perfect coordination. When one of the recruits stumbled under fire, she dragged him behind cover without breaking stride. By the time they reached the extraction point, they'd completed the mission faster than any other team that day. When Rourke reviewed the results, his expression hardened. "Squad Delta," he said, disbelieving. "Who led?" "Recruit Hayes, sir," one of them admitted reluctantly. Rourke's eyes flicked to her. "Hayes, step forward." She did, calm and steady, eyes locked on his. "Where did you learn command structure like that?" "Observation, sir." He studied her for a long moment, then gave a slow nod. "Not bad. But don't get comfortable, you're still just a recruit." That night, Rourke pulled her file. It was thin, too thin. Only one page, with minimal information. A single clearance line at the bottom caught his attention. Restricted access, Level 7 authorization required. Level 7. That was command-only clearance. The next morning, everything changed. The trainees were lined up for inspection, Rourke pacing before them when a black SUV rolled onto the field, stopping near the command tent. Two men in suits stepped out, followed by a senior SEAL officer in full uniform, Admiral Nash, head of Special Operations Command. Whispers rippled through the ranks. The Admiral rarely visited training grounds, and never unannounced. "Commander Rourke," Nash said curtly, "I'm here for Lieutenant Commander Hayes." Every recruit's head turned at once. Hayes stood silently at the end of the line, unreadable as always. Rourke blinked. Sir, there's no Lieutenant Commander Hayes here. Only a recruit. R. Hayes. Nash's gaze shifted toward her. Not anymore. The air went still. Rourke looked at her again, disbelief flooding his face. Lieutenant Commander. Hayes finally stepped forward, snapping a crisp salute. Ma'am reporting, sir. Her voice carried none of the softness it once did. It was command, measured, steady, authoritative. Rourke's jaw clenched. Explain yourself. Nash interjected. Commander Hayes has been embedded in this training cycle under direct orders. We wanted an inside evaluation of the leadership performance and team cohesion protocols. She was your test, Commander Rourke, and it seems she's done her job. The recruits stood frozen, realization dawning one by one. The woman they'd dismissed, mocked, and ignored wasn't a recruit at all. She outranked every one of them, and most of the instructors. Hayes turned to face her squad. You thought I was one of you, she said quietly. And in a way, I was. I needed to see how you treat your own, how you lead under pressure, how you follow when no one's watching. Her eyes moved from face to face, stopping on the one who had mocked her most. Some of you failed that test. No one spoke. Then, with a faint half smile, she added, but others proved they belong here. And that's what leadership is about, seeing past rank, past pride. You're only as strong as the one next to you. Rourke exhaled slowly, finally saluting. Welcome back, Commander. She returned it, crisp and exact. Thank you, sir. I'll be taking over the next training cycle. When she walked off the line, boots splashing in shallow puddles, the recruits watched in awe. The same woman they'd called Rookie had just been revealed as their SEAL commander, the one who had led covert missions, carried brothers out of burning buildings, and trained legends they'd only read about. Later, in the mess hall, silence followed her wherever she went. Not out of fear, but out of respect. She sat alone at first, but soon, one by one, members of her old squad joined her. Ma'am, one of them said, voice hesitant, we didn't know. Hayes looked up, her expression softer now. You weren't supposed to. Real leadership isn't about who salutes first. It's about earning it. Outside, the rain had stopped, leaving the field shining under the morning sun. The recruits stood taller now, more aware, more humbled. And somewhere on the edge of the base, a small flag stirred in the wind, its emblem glinting faintly. In gold, the trident of the United States Navy SEALs. Title: they believed she was just a recruit, until she revealed she was their SEAL commander. Description: she blended in as a rookie among the toughest trainees in the SEAL program, quiet, unassuming, and disciplined. But when the mission got real, her instincts gave her away. What the others didn't know. She wasn't one of them. She was their commander, sent to test every single one of them. Hashtag military story, hashtag SEAL commander, hashtag true leadership, hashtag heroic women, hashtag Navy SEALs, hashtag states of valor, hashtag military courage, hashtag Commander Hayes, hashtag action drama, hashtag hidden leader.